What's up, guys? Duncan here, and today we're going to discuss the most difficult aspects of learning the Russian language. And for some backstory, I've been studying Russian for around 20 months, and I've been living in Russia for almost 4 months. Now, there's a lot of things on this list, and we're going to find out why is it that Russian language has such a reputation as being one of the most difficult languages to learn. By the way, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. All right, first off is going to be pronunciation. Specifically, these three right here. Now, of course, I could put up the Miyaki snack, and those are some that maybe Americans will have difficulty with, but this list is mostly going to be things specific to me, issues that I've had. And these three right here have been so difficult to figure out the proper technique to pronounce. We'll start off with yo. You've got a le and then a yo, like yo, what up, gangster? And then together, you would think that it would be like le yo. For whatever reason, it's just so hard to combine those together. I don't know what it is. And for example, you've got this word vertolyot, which means helicopter. But when I first started trying to learn it, I would say it like vertolyot. Like le, yo, liot. It's just so difficult. But yeah, this one took me around a week or more to learn how to pronounce. Vertaliot. All right, next up we have ya. This right here is ya. So le, ya. And then here is delya, which I still don't even think I pronounced that correct. Delya. And lastly, liu. Le, you. Which a lot of people know this phrase, ya, liu, vas. But whenever I try to naturally pronounce this to where it's comfortable, usually I'll say ya, liu, blue. It's more of kind of an up here like le, liu, blue, more than a throat kind of liu, blue. And this is probably the most difficult one for me here. Tie, like pizza, tie. And this word here means stage. So you have sa, tie, in, which I still cannot even pronounce correctly.
Scena.
All right, next up, we have listening to Russian. And the big problem with this is that Russians speak very fast and their words tend to kind of mesh and blend together, and it's really hard to discern them sometimes, especially if you're just starting to learn the language. And I know that this can also be a problem in English. Maybe we talk very fast and it's kind of hard to understand what's going on. The problem is that at least if you're talking with an English speaker, they'll slow down their speech in order that you can understand better. If an American recognizes that you are a foreigner and having difficulty speaking the language, we naturally slow down our speech. But that's not the case with Russians. They will just continue to... It's absolutely insane. And secondly, unless I am putting focused attention on listening to Russian, I think that it's pointless to even have it around. I think it's pointless to have a podcast kind of in the background as I'm, washing dishes or something like that. Unless I am very focused on listening to Russian, it is just a blend of noises. I don't think it has that kind of flavor and cadence of the English language, but just a lot of the time it's hard to stay focused on listening to it. All right, next up, and this is one that I continue to have a lot of difficulty with, is numbers. Like I just mentioned, Russians speak very fast, so it can be hard to discern the numbers that they're saying. And also, some of these numbers will sound similar. For example, so here we've got 12 and 19. 12, 19, 19, 19. So if a Russian were to read a number like this, it sounds something like 19. All right, next up, and this is one that everybody knows, падежи, or Russian cases. I won't talk about this one too much because this is the one that everyone says is the most difficult in Russian. Russian cases, Russian grammar is the most difficult, which I disagree with that. And I'm going to tell you what I believe is the most difficult later in this video. But the thing with cases, it's really just a bunch of complex brain math that you have to kind of figure out whenever you're trying to build a sentence. For example, first, you have to figure out the context of the sentence. You have to figure out the gender of it or if it's plural. And then you have to figure out which case it is. With that, you have kind of separate endings that'll be for each of the cases. I think that the main problem with cases is that the genitive case or родительный падеж is simply evil. It is really just the worst thing about the Russian language. And the reason for that is that it is one of the most common cases that is used, but one of the most complex when it comes to describing multiple plural things. For example, if you say mnogo something, that means a lot of something. And whatever you describe that is a lot of something, that is genitive case. For example, много городов. That means a lot of cities. And to say a lot of cities, много городов, that is our genitive case there, the of ending. And here's another example. A lot of people, много людей. A is our genitive case ending. Now here's where the problems begin. This is a pen, ручка. These are pens, ручки. So what would be our genitive case for много, a lot of pens? Много ручков? Maybe много ручкей? No, it's this. Много ручек. Yeah, and there's a lot of things like this in genitive. A lot of money, много денег. A lot of books, много книг. And there are so many contexts or situations that you're going to be using this genitive case. And it's basically a coin flip of trying to figure out which is going to be the proper ending for these plural words. Ugh. All right, next up, the problem of just generally getting things mixed up, which is natural, that can happen in learning a language, but it just seems to be a big problem in the Russian language for me, especially with maybe mixing up the gender of a word. Like, let's say I see a beautiful Russian girl and I want to say, oh, you're so beautiful, ты так красивая. Well, maybe I'll accidentally say, ты так красивый, which is the male form of that word, beautiful, красиво. And yeah, that can just be a problem sometimes if I don't take my time, do all the brain science of, all right, we've got this gender over here, and now let's figure out the case, and now let's get that over into formal or informal. That can be another problem. I'll be having a conversation with, an older person who works at a store, and I'll just be going with the flow of the conversation, and I'll accidentally throw out an informal style of speech because, it just happens. Like, for example, I might say like, я думал, что ты сказал ва-ва-ва-ва. Like, I thought that you said ва-ва-ва, but I should have said, я думал, что вы сказали ва-ва-ва. Now I'm kind of stuck in an awkward situation of like, do I need to go back and say вы сказали, like repeat it to make sure I hit the formal? Or do we just keep going with the conversation? Are they insulted by this? I hope not. But yeah, it's just something that can happen often when you're practicing your Russian speech. You're just going to get things mixed up sometimes. And it might lead to situations that feel a little bit awkward. All right, next. And this is a big problem that I came across, especially when you're first learning the language, is simply finding good resources online to learn Russian. And for that, I mean, one, yes, there's a lot of YouTube videos for learning Russian, but not as many and not to the same quality of learning the English language. And one of the main problems I come across is videos of top 10 phrases you need to learn before you go to Russia. And I'll look at these videos and I'll watch it with my Russian friends, and they'll tell me for a lot of these phrases, like, yeah, we don't say that. You'll just get a lot of misinformation. Secondly, there's just not that much good reading material for a beginner learning Russian. And by that I mean, in English, there are so many reading materials that have simplified language that are meant to help a person learning the language, whether it be a foreigner or a small child. For example, I just drew this up here. This is Mark. Mark lives in a red house. Mark loves to throw the ball for his dog, Scruffy. All right, there you go. But it is so hard to find something like this in Russian. Most of what you're going to find in Russian is going to be some sort of fairy tale with very complex speech and a lot of old words that aren't even used in Russian anymore. All right, next up is the simple question. Russians, где yo? For those of you that are confused, I'll show you где yo. This right here is the Russian letter yo. But very commonly, when Russians are writing yo, they'll write it like this, without the 2 dots on top. This can lead to a lot of frustration. For any Russian you talk to, this is just going to be a normal thing because they have no issue with it. They know where the yo is. They don't need to write the 2 dots every time. But when you are a foreigner learning the language, it is very frustrating to be constantly corrected on your pronunciation of a word because you simply didn't know that there was a yo there. Semalet? No, semalot. Prashel? Huh? No, prashol. Где yo? All right, and lastly, we're going to discuss what I think is the most difficult part of learning Russian, and that is verbs of motion. To sum up what this means, how to say go. I'm going somewhere. Go, 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 go. And that might be one of the main causes of suffering from verbs of motion in Russian, is that in English, it is so simple to say, I'm going somewhere. But in Russian, you need to make clear, are you on foot? Are you on some mode of transportation? Are you going there omnidirectional or multi-directional? Are you in the process of going there? Have you arrived there? There's just a lot of complexity to it, but also there is a long list of different prefixes that will kind of change the meaning of these verbs of motion. For example, пришел, came somewhere, переехал, which I think is moved somewhere, зашла, which is like came in to somewhere, like you came in. I don't know. I've been studying Russian a long time. And still, I feel like I am just getting started on learning these verbs of motion. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the video for today. If you're someone who is learning Russian, let me know what has been difficult for you in Russian. Have you had some of the same problems that I've had with it? But guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.